Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Planet Lizzdom, episode 11. And I believe this is probably the craziest hour leading up to this episode I have ever experienced. I am full of adrenaline. I literally had one of those movie moments trying to get home on time. I had to work a little bit later at my day job today. And a lot of crazy things happened leading up today, which really is very appropriate because this is my first official wildcard episode. For those of you joining me for the very first time ever, Planet Lizzdom really is one of those shows that's designed for artists by an artist. You know, we're all stuck in this pandemic. It's kind of a wild, crazy time, and, you know, we're all experiencing a lot of trials and tribulations, but we're also thriving. And one of the things that I am really loving about each and every episode every week is that I'm discovering that each and every single one of you is really feisty, and you're really determined to make it as an artist and as a human being, and just to find your own happiness in your own niche, and you're all growing so much. And, you know, from the get-go, I had a plan because I thought, you know, doing a live to air episode, anything can happen. You know, someone might cancel last minute, someone might cancel in advance. And I had the luxury of 36 hours. My guest was not able to make it this evening. So I decided, you know what? We're going to change it up a little bit and do a wild card episode. And as luck would have it, I have a guest for tonight. And I wanted to keep it a surprise because he is a really, really special person. And I wanted to introduce him to you. I met him back in the summer when my boyfriend was one of his guests. And he has been following this show right from the get-go. And I'm so humbled and honored to introduce to you the very fantastic Jeff with the G Peterson. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for being on my show and for, you know, stepping in. I'm so happy to have you as my guest.
Well, yeah, I'm always happy to support everybody who's trying to do all this sort of stuff going on, and it's going to be fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun. You know, one of the things I do love about live broadcasting is that you just don't know what's going to happen. Best laid plans don't always work out.
True story. Yeah, I've had to deal with the guest canceling at the last minute problem before, so I feel that pain, which is why I was willing to jump in.
Thank you. I made this poster and this video and I forgot to play it, so let's do it now. Welcome to the wildcard episode. Why not, you know?
Yeah, we'll have fun with it.
Well, exactly. I mean, I had a bit of stress about the fact that, you know, all this work that I did to be ready for this episode was right out the window. But I thought, you know, what a great opportunity to just change it up.
Oh yeah, of course. It's good to do that because sometimes it keeps because after a while routine becomes monotonous. And so as long as you keep it fresh always, it tends to go better, I think. You'll enjoy this far longer if you keep changing it up. So
absolutely. Well, you remember the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Have you seen it? Maybe
I'm familiar with the film. Yeah, I saw it in the theater when I was a kid. So yeah.
So, do you remember the end sequence when he's trying to beat his parents home and he's like jumping over fences and, you know, doing all kinds of craziness to get into his bed on time so his parents are none the wiser that he left the house?
Oh, yeah.
That was my adventure trying to get home tonight. Because I had to work till 7:15. We go live to air for 8 o'clock. And I thought, oh, yeah, I'll catch a cab just like back in the day. No problem. You know, before COVID, I could just put my arm up and there's a cab. Nothing, like a ghost town. And I work right at Yonge and Dundas, or Yonge and Queen, which is, you know, the epicenter of Toronto. Like, usually there's 5 cabs per person. And I'm standing there, I'm like, are you kidding me? I need to get home.
Yeah, I've been there before too, like getting off work and going, all right, cool. Yeah. 45 minutes, more than enough time. I live 10 minutes away. It gives me time to walk the dog, make sure everything's working right, and go on time. Every single time when I have to do that thing, somebody walks in right at like 2 minutes till the hour, and suddenly it's 20 minutes of trying to help somebody out with stuff. For my day job.
What is your day job? Mine's retail.
Technically, mine is too. I'm a costumer. I work for a costume shop here in Austin, Texas called Lucy in Disguise with Diamonds.
Oh my God, I love that. That's so cool. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
so yeah, if you're in Austin, Texas, I mean, it's been around for almost 37 years. It's like one of those, like it's now become like one of the spots. You come to Austin, you got to go to Lucy's. Is kind of the idea. So
Okay.
we see a lot of tourists. It's a lot of fun. I've been enjoying it so far. I really literally like just moved to Austin and stumbled into that job like a year and a half ago.
That's awesome. I mean, it's costume retailing, I imagine, is probably not very easy to do, so that's going to drive me nuts. What would you say? I mean, before we talk about your life's work and what's really really meaningful to you, because the day job is lovely, but it's the day job.
Yeah.
I always love a good frontline customer service story.
Well,
Do you have any fun adventures that have happened to you?
see, I live here in Texas, and Texas is basically the Wild West, especially now with the mask. Our mask mandate went away a week ago, so we always get the fun people who come in, and with the like this post-COVID world, just like people trying to come in without masks on, or they come in with a mask, keep trying to take it off, and we just got to make that stuff work. So it's. And then dealing with things like people having parties where there's going to be more than 10 people at that party, but we still have to costume everybody because we can't assume, even though after 3 conversations, I know there's at least going to be 60, 70, 100 people at this place dressing up as disco people. So that's always fun to realize that my life is in my hands every day because all these people are going in to do these big parties.
Wow.
Fun. But so far that I've noticed, and I'll go to the other side of this so people go, I can't believe it. I have not heard of any huge outbreaks due to those things that I'm aware of. So at least that's something. Now, if they dress up and go downtown and do stuff that I can't swear by, but like I know like these designated party spots, I have not heard of any outbreaks at said party spots. So maybe they're testing or maybe they just all got lucky. I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, I do get my fair share of it as well. And, it is polar opposites. I get some people who are just so adamant on not following the protocol, but then I get some people who are so willing to be, part of the solution and trying to do all the good things. Like I've had people give me gifts of hand sanitizer. They're like, here, the sweet little lady's going, I think you'd like the smell of this. Here you go. Like, it's very nice. It matches your mask or something,
That's nice. No, I just get to be I'm the one willing to be the asshole. So if the people have got masks on at work, because I'll talk to anybody as we're here now. But I mean, I'll be polite about it. Going, hey man, just raise it up, and they give me guff, and then I'll just go, it's for all of us. Or 99% of the time they'll go, oh, sorry. It's the third time I catch them at it. That's when we have a problem.
That's right.
Which just happens.
Oh dear. Well, sometimes it's good to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
I met you back in, was it July?
It was June. It was like late June, early July.
Late June, early July. Okay. Now, just to kind of give everybody a heads up as, just a few things about you. I mean, I think it was the G Spot that Mysterion was a guest on.
That's correct. Yeah, my little chat show where I get to talk to people because I'm not going out, so it's an excuse to meet all these people who are creators, just like what you're doing. And basically, it's very similar. Just talking to weirdos about what's cool about it. So yeah, that's how I reached out to Mysterion. He was on board, and it was a really great fun talking to him during the broadcast, and a great time chatting with you afterwards.
Absolutely. And I have to say, I really do enjoy the way you run your shows. You are, incredibly engaging as well, which is why I was really excited to have you asked to be on the show, because I know you're going to be a lot of fun. Oh, and very interesting. Donna's asking, can you tell me about the eyeball kid behind you?
Oh, it's oh yeah, right there. Yeah, I've got all these fun like sideshow posters and stuff like that. This one is part of a series that I have down a row here that I got a year and a half ago from some. It's like a reproduction of some guy who did this stuff a while ago. I like the picture, so I like the eyeball kid. This stuff on this side is all Killbuck, who's a famous sideshow banner artist, and I got some of his stuff too. Cool. And my fun stuff here, which is my fun little curio stuff. I figured it'd be a fun thing to have as my backdrop, is like showcasing all my some of my cool stuff.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm loving it. And it's very interesting to see what people's homes look like. Because sometimes people will just shoot in front of their shower because it's a solid background, or sometimes they'll sit in front of the trash can. Like, you just never know exactly what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I'll take whatever I can get these days.
Well, this is I usually sit in front of I've been doing the other show I do, which is called the Devil's Hour, and I've been doing almost a year now. In fact, April 1st will be 1 year, and I've done it over different things. But since I moved into this apartment, I've always used this as my backdrop behind me, so that way, one is so I can showcase the cool stuff that I have, but I also have things from other performers and stuff like that behind here. I have some stuff I got from Mysterion back at the end of summer when he was doing his little auction thing. So I got those on here.
That's right. That was a really fun auction to do. Actually, that funny story for you. The day that we did that auction was one of the hottest days in Toronto, and sweat was dripping into our eyes because we were doing it out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I was running the auction items back and forth to him and writing everything. I'm sweating trying to write everything, and the pen is slipping out of my hand. Everybody's auctioning like crazy, and I'm just like, "Oh, they do this at Christie's." It was crazy.
Yeah. Well, they have air conditioning. That's really how they do it.
That's true. That's true. I think we're probably too old school for that just yet. We have one little dinky one in the bedroom, and that's about it.
No, I don't think I could live with I have central air here, and I don't think I could live without it. So, it's also temperatures difference between Texas and Canada.
True, although sometimes the humidity here can be incredible. It can be wild here sometimes. I just wanted to. There's this photograph that you sent me that I just can't stop looking at. And
sure, which one? You can show it up. Yeah,
it's this one right here.
Oh yeah, that was me at the Southern. That was the last time I was on stage in front of live people at the Southern Sideshow Hootenanny.
That's awesome. Well, here, this is the one I wanted to do. The one with your name on it. There we go.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's very cool. Just from reading your bio a little bit to learn a little bit more about you, you were telling me that you've been performing for the past 3 years, but it feels like longer.
I've been involved in various business back when in college I was involved in the music industry some. I wasn't a band member or anything like that. I was just involved in the business, and then met somebody, fell in love, did other stuff for a while, and after all that happened, then I fell in love with Sideshow, and producing and burlesque and all this other stuff. So I started to get behind it and help promote that, whether it's a producer or just somebody trying to go, hey, pay attention to this. This is worthwhile. So, which is mostly what I do now. So,
well, when you first came to doing online broadcasting, what was your gateway app? I'm always curious to know what brought you into doing this.
A friend of mine out of Houston, Texas, by the name of Tifa Tiddlywinks. Look her up; she's awesome. She's a really good friend of mine. She also performs sometimes with me for the Trash Fire Sideshow, and so she decided to put together a Twitch channel for performers. So basically, create this digital busking corner for everybody to jump on, throw their links up to try to busk and try to make some money that way, because nothing was open for all these performers, whether musicians, Sideshow, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then she reached out to me and goes, hey, Jeff, because by this point I wasn't living in Houston anymore, so she was saying very Houston-centric. So I went, and then she reached out to me. I said, yeah, I can put something together. And so the live show I normally do, I produce, which is called The Devil's Hour Even Live.
Mm-hmm.
I always had I built it like a TV show. Anyways, in my mind, I had it was always built like a late night variety show, because I always bring in these different acts live. And so I went, well, that just lends it easy. And most bands I know have videos already, and a lot of performers already have either their stuff already made, or they're just desperate for the need to create. They're going, yeah, sure, I'll put stuff together. And so that's how it all started. But yeah, I was on Twitch. That's how it all, long story longer is I started everything with Twitch. And that's why I do everything my stuff through right now, Twitch. I do rebroadcasts through like YouTube and stuff like that. But for the live aspect, it's been on Twitch. I've been liking it. So
interesting, because I noticed you were telling me that you do Cabin Fever live stream, if I have that written correctly.
That's the channel I like, basically the channel I use currently. That was the channel that was founded by Tifa Tiddlywinks.
Okay.
Now it's pretty much me and Scabs the Clown are the only ones that really do anything on it anymore, because everybody either went and got real life jobs or decided to give up on their dreams, or they're just hold down and just working on stuff, and so they just stopped like producing stuff on the channel. So it's really just us.
Well, I have had a chance to watch it, and I think I really love what you guys are doing. Like I also love the way that you're branding the show as well. Like it's kind of, as soon as I see it, I'm like, oh, I know what this is. I'm excited. Same with Twitch TV Carney Show. Like I've noticed that you're very very focused on what you're presenting and where you're going with all of it, and I really, really appreciate that.
Well, that's the idea, is for when you're trying to brand yourself to do this sort of stuff, is you got to make it as concise and as easy as digest as possible. Because if you make it too heady or kind of, well, I don't know what it is, then why is the audience going to go, well, I don't know what it is? And so it gets problematic. And so when my stuff got refined, it continually gets refined, because that's the idea. And ever since our mutual friend, I had our mutual friend Pickles LeVay on the show. Let me drop some names.
Lovely.
Yeah, Pickles is a great friend, and I had her on my show, and she just goes, I just started talking to her stuff. She goes, you know what? You're like a curator of weirdos. And I go, yep, that's me in a nutshell, because I know a lot of weird people. So that just further defines my image and refines the types of shows and how I'm going to be doing the shows going forward. So here's some weird people you want to meet.
That's the best thing, because it's true. Like attracts like. And, it's funny how the circles really do kind of overlap with each other. Chances are, if I know one person who's really interesting and, in performance, chances are I probably know about 12 other people who, it's the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, just weird.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's the 6 degrees of Jeff now.
Okay, sure.
Maybe.
We can maybe. I mean, I know a lot of weird, I know a lot of weird, because I have varied interests. I don't consider them that weird. I mean, I'm really into music. I'm really into movies. I'm really into that sort of stuff. And when I started doing the live shows, producing live shows, especially in the Houston area, a lot of those circles didn't intermingle. So all the music people would just be the music people. All the burlesquers would just be burlesque. All the so on and so on and so on. And I went, I like all these things, and I know you guys will too. So I would book a musician, a burlesquer, a comic, and a variety artist. And they would all have all their own distinct crowds, and then bring them all together and mix that pot around to get people interested in other stuff, because that's what I do. I like a variety of things, and I like to seek all that out, but not everybody does. So I'm trying to make it easy for everybody.
Well, I really appreciate that you do, because I do too. I think for me, the more the merrier. Being an artist myself, I really have a great appreciation for other art forms as well, because I can't do it all. I appreciate it all, but I can't do it all. Like magic and mentalism, I can't do it, but I sure appreciate it. The human blockhead, maybe with a bit of practice I could do it, but I'm on blood thinner, so if I get it wrong, it could be really bad.
True.
Although maybe if I, practice really hard, I won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, Q-tips are hard to hurt, hard to break your body with. So. Well,
that's true. I didn't even consider practicing with Q-tips. I just went straight for the nail.
That's the only reason I can say this is what it is, because it's like you can go like on public sites to say how to train for this sort of stuff. So but yeah, that's the Q-tip is a method of which to do stuff. I won't get into sword swallowing, because there are some patented methods to do that too, of which neither of those things I can do, because I have a horrible gag reflex. I push my tongue too far back in my throat and I'll gag. So it's one of those, yeah.
I can't touch my eyeballs. I cannot wear contacts.
Oh.
So envious. Like, even when a makeup artist is doing my eyes, I'm like, they're shut, closed. I can't deal with it. So your gag reflex, my eyes, no.
Oh, my eyes, the same thing. That's why I wear glasses. So I just live with it. I mean, I can see without them, but I can't read that well. So
true. I'm kind of blind. Sometimes I like to be like, oh, I didn't see you there. You know.
That's good.
But before we continue, I feel beholden to remind everybody when it comes to doing different stunts like human blockhead, any of the physical stunts out there, please get training from someone who knows what they're doing. Don't watch it on YouTube and think I can do this, because it takes years of commitment and proper practice to do this safely. And I feel like I am absolutely obligated, if we're going to talk about it and broadcast about it, that everybody be smart and safe and train with a professional.
I definitely agree. I know lots of great professionals that are willing to get the work. If you want to get training, drop a line to me. I'll get you in contact with somebody who can teach you how to do all this stuff. I might even know a mentalist or two that might be able to help out with stuff. Maybe. I don't know who.
I have no
idea. It's a mystery to me.
But I mean, and that's the funny thing about this time period, and this is where I want to talk about losses versus wins. Because, this time last year, I know for us here in Toronto, we went into our first lockdown March 17th. So it's officially been a year here. When did lockdown start for you, and what were you doing when it happened?
All right. So March 17th here as well. So yeah, St. Patrick's Day. Yep. I was actually at work. Literally, I was at work, and the call came down at like 2:00 or something like that, and our boss went downtown because I live in a capital city, so my boss went downtown to go to the big press conference from the governor.
Okay.
And then which wasn't far from where I work at, so literally, as you can look outside my street, you can see the Capitol building. Came back, goes, well, this is what's happening. And we go, well, I mean, technically, the order was issued on the 17th, but it didn't go into effect till that night. But we went, all right, I guess we're closed now. And they go, all right, cool. We 2 weeks, get the rest of the month off. We're going to pay you through the rest of the month. And then we'll play catch up, because that's what the deal was. It's all right, cool. 2 weeks.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. 2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Problem is, not everybody listened. So that 2 weeks became. I didn't work again until my first day back was the 2nd of September.
Wow.
I mean, I have a really where I work at, my bosses and what it is are really conscientious, and they made a point. They go, well, you know what, we can't do this safely. We are not an essential service because we help people dress up. Which, don't get me wrong, is really good for your Zoom call, but
right.
But it's not that. I mean, but it's nobody needs it, so we just went. All right, cool. We're gonna stick by. I got furloughed for a few months, which was and I got bored because I'm the guy. I'm the guy who goes, all right, cool. Sickness good. I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna stay away from people, stuff like that. And so I learned how to do internet stuff. I learned how to create and produce shows. Create, openings, closings, creating videos, all that sort of stuff. I learned while shut down because I had nothing else to do. I can only play video games and I don't sleep much, so I can only play video games and watch TV for so long. So I had something more active and engaging. So
no, good for you because you're doing great with it. Having come to learning how to use this technology as well. There is a learning curve to it. Mine is still, I'm still learning a lot. But I did notice at one point there was a tipping point where all of a sudden I started to understand the language of these different platforms. And all of a sudden I'm able to compare a Zoom between StreamYard, between this, between that one. I'm like, well, these are the limitations of this. This is what you can do with that. Da, da, da. Well, based on this, I can do da, da, da. And it's exponentially growing, And it's really kind of exciting in that sense that, I'm sure you feel this way too. We're punching above our weight every week because we're excited to create. We're excited to connect with everybody. And it's never been easier to have all of this at our fingertips and learn. We're going to school on our own terms. And look what you're making. Look what I'm making. Yeah. It's really cool.
Well, yeah. And plus, you're learning the stuff you know is necessary for your thing. So it's like I need so for you, you're building your show. Going, I need to build what I want. My vision for the head is doing this for my show. You're not learning the extraneous stuff that has nothing to do with it. You're just figuring out the thing for that. Once you get it down, then it goes farther and you can learn stuff. That's basically how I've been doing. Once I get to go, this is how I went locked down. Now it's locked down. How can I make it better? And then that's what I've been doing. It's like I've been telling people, like I've been telling people stuff like that. They're all asking, well, what's going to happen once everything's gone? I go, well, I'm still going to be doing this regardless.
Oh, yeah.
You don't understand. Like people don't get that live performers. This is going to be part of your world going forward. I mean, it's like the digital world is going to be part of your repertoire, because if you're not involved also digitally, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities that way too. So,
well, it's true. And I know for myself, the genesis of this show was that a singer of a really great band that I love in Toronto, he's pretty shy, so I won't name him just yet, but he, I do thank him personally. He was really bereft that he couldn't perform. He was, crying out one day on Facebook that, if he can't perform on stage, what's the point? And it broke my heart, because I thought, here's this creative person who feels like the stage is gone. And the stage didn't disappear, it just changed, And I immediately phoned him up and I'm like, buddy, let's do a show together. Let's hop on Facebook Live and let's just talk about it. And he was like, I can't. It's too emotional for me. So I came home from that walk, said to Mysterion, I want to do a show about this. This is important. We need to hear about how other artists are surviving and thriving. And to his credit, within hours, we were making a YouTube channel. He was helping me make a commercial, and he's like, now you've got a show, do it. And within 24 hours, I had a show, So thank you, hon, because this is what drives me and gets me through the day and gets me, literally out of bed and focused and, doing the thing.
That's very similar for me too. Like, especially when I started doing the talk show, when I had Mysteria and stuff like that, is like that. I started that because basically I have all these friends who can't work, and like there's some stuff like I started talking to burlesque performers first, just because a lot of other performers, like musicians and variety performers, can shift easier online than burlesquers, because there's so many dumb rules about what you can and can't show on various formats. And so I went, all right, cool, I'll just talk to them and about their experiences, and if they have stuff to plug and promote, and bring them on first. So then I went, all right, cool, who else I can talk to? And I started talking to my other performer friends, and I go, then I saw a thing, because Mysteria and I are like been Facebook friends for a bit, and I saw him talking about doing stuff. I think it was his because he just released his book.
Yes.
And so, which I have. Which I love.
Okay.
Which I love, and I used it the other day, because one of the other shows I have, we talked about cryptids, so I was using his book as a reference book. So, of course, the video is missing now.
Is it now?
Yeah, just so I'm going to leave that vagueness for everybody else. Anyways. So I brought him on because I knew he had that thing going on, and I think he was trying to kick in his Patreon at the time too. And so I went, all right, cool. It's like, somebody to help promote stuff, and that's how I ended up talking with like Todd Robbins. I talked with Trav SD, who wrote a book about Rose's Royal Midgets. Then I got in contact with Chris Christ, who's part of the World of Wonders, and I've had him on a few times. And it just kind of snowballed. All these people I hadn't met in person, but I just love to talk to people in general, because I want to promote their stuff. But I always find it fascinating, which is, it's weird to talk to somebody about talking about some people. Like, talking to people, it's just kind of weird, because we're both doing the same thing, kind of. It's just like our avenues are different for doing stuff. But I do other stuff too.
But I don't know if this has been your experience, but for me, my experience has been very healing, very cathartic, because I was also feeling a lot of the same frustrations and a lot of the same unsureness, and just a lot of stress and anxiety. And the more I speak with other artists and creators, entertainers, entrepreneurs, the more I realize that we're growing. We're choosing different avenues to explore, because we've never had the opportunity or the time to do it. And it's, I was getting paid to stay at home. Well, of course I'm going to learn and do stuff and things. And, there might be some days that I spend the entire day watching Netflix as well. It's not a
research. No, it's I was talking to somebody, I can't remember what it was, I think Travis D or basically I liken this to being the idea as far as back in the day when vaudeville went from vaudeville to film. That's kind of where we're at. It was like it's this new tipping point where basically it's like, well, we'll have live stuff because vaudeville still exists to the extent stage production still exists. It just changed. The people who adapted well have done well. The people who don't. And I don't want that to happen for those people who don't adapt well, which is why I try to do everything I can to go here, see these people, go see these people, let me kick and scream to showcase them as best I can, and still maintain safety for everybody involved.
Yes. Well, and that's where, I'm so happy to be living in the future in that sense, because we can still be connected. In some ways, performing online, you can do certain things that you couldn't do on stage. There is an intimacy right now, like sitting here and talking with you. You're in Houston, I'm in Toronto, but we look like we're having a coffee at Starbucks together, or a beer at our favorite pub, because we're side by side through technology.
That's actually what's been kept me, because I'm a people person, so I like being around people, even if I don't know the people. Just being in the throngs of people just energizes me, and so being alone basically for a year. I mean, I work and I see people that's masked up, touching, which is kind of weird in itself. But like the connections I've made by doing like these shows, even if it's just me doing like my Devil's Hour where I'm just talking to people. There's a chat, so I can still see the chat. There's still an interaction to a point. And so it's a poor Band-Aid, but at least it's a Band-Aid to help me process my own stuff.
Absolutely, and I think there is, and I talk about this every week, but there is a beauty to process. There's a revelation in it. Every conversation leads to a new idea. It leads to a connection of something that you would never have come to otherwise.
Oh yeah.
I think it's so important for other people to see that as well, because sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees, but if you all of a sudden watch it and realize, oh, there are different things that I can do. There are different ways that I can connect with people still. It can be very freeing to some people who just, didn't understand prior, which is strange to say because we are so technologically connected. Like almost every single person has Facebook or Instagram, but sometimes, they just don't know anything outside of a poke or a comment,
Yeah.
And Donna says performers got to perform. They do. People got to
one
talk.
way or another.
I do want to introduce everybody to this fellow here. Who is this furry beast?
Oh, that's Shinobi. That's my Siberian Husky. He is he just turned 10. He's actually a rescue of a rescue, which is a weird thing to say. But no, I had some friends of mine, and they just got married. And so they did the whole, well, we don't know if we want kids yet, so let's get a dog, because that's exactly the same.
Yeah.
So they rescued Shinobi, whose name I believe was Zeus at the time. And they just didn't like it, so they changed it to Shinobi. And then they finally did have a kid. And at the 1.5 old, the kid started having allergy symptoms, and they went, "Well, it's the dog." Ooh. And so they asked, "What can you do about it?" So me and my late wife, we had an Alaskan Malamute at the time. So they went, "Hey, you know how to deal with Arctic breeds?" And we went, "All right, cool. We'll just have the dogs meet, and if they seem to be okay, we'll take the dog." Our Malamute was old and ornery and didn't really like the new dog, but he was also lazy, and just as long as Shinobi didn't get too close to him, he really didn't care. So we took him in. And then when Sutek, which was the Malamute, when he passed away, was about the same time when they figured out that our friend who had the kid, your allergies don't get locked in until after you're 3 years old, for the record. So your allergy, like to all your effects, stuff changes a lot. Your body chemistry for a kid changes so much till about the age of 3. By the age of 3, they found out not allergic to dogs, not anymore, anyways. So they're actually considering, like, all right, cool, can we have the dog back? It was right at the same time when the other dog died. So they're like, oh, we can't do that. And then when my wife died, that dog's been like my comfort and taking care of me for everything. So
Well, yeah, I could believe it. I mean, it goes without saying, but I am so sorry to hear that happen. That's tough. The fact that you can speak about it, very freely is very powerful and not easy to do for sure.
I make a point to do so because it's one of those things that, grief for one is a universal thing that everybody experiences to a level for everything.
Yeah.
And but the other side is nobody really talks about it, especially male grief. Grief for men, you get like the 2 weeks or so. I mean, it's an exaggerated term, but like you get this very small window which you're expected to show grief, and then you're supposed to just bottle that shit up and just live with it. And I spent that first year after she passed away talking about it every day, making a point to let people know what's going on. Like if people reach out and ask me questions, I'll talk about it now. I mean, that's grief should be shared. That's my process for dealing with is talking about it. The only way you can move on is if you talk about it and figure it out, whether it's with a counselor or with just people at large, or just being very open to the conversation, which I've always been open to the conversation.
No, and good for you for doing that. When my mom passed away, I was very much the same. Sometimes I wasn't, but generally I tried to just invite the conversation as well, because it becomes the elephant in the room. People don't know how to handle it, and all of a sudden they're treating you with these kid gloves, and you're like, but I'm still here. Like, I have survived this, and I'm growing from it. Let's grow together. Absolutely. And my hat's off to you, because that is a huge gift to yourself to be able to do that. And I know I had asked you for a whole bunch of different topics to do random topic toss-ups, but my conversation with you is so engaging that I don't feel like we're at a loss to talk about anything.
Yeah, it's fine. And I kept those topic levels general, so that way we could talk about like some of the stuff we're talking about now. I just didn't it's just like one of those things. I will literally talk about anything to anyone. Just ask me. I'll talk about it. And whenever we do shows and stuff like that, talk like when doing like things like the G Spot, or when I'm occasionally on some other shows. That's the idea. It's about the conversation. If we just like going, and here's a card about blah blah blah. Which is fine, but that's like I want to just talk to you. I want to have a back and forth dialogue, which is what you're doing too. So it's good.
Absolutely. Well, and I think it's absolutely possible online to have a natural conversation. I don't know if you've experienced it, but I always love to make the joke about Zoom face.
Because you're waiting.
They don't know how to be in front of the camera, and they're like, but I look weird. I'm like, you can't look weirder than this. I've got a double chin and a cross eye. Like, it's okay. Like, it's the camera. Whoop-de-doo. Like, and for some people, they're like deer in a headlight, and they just don't know how to just freely be together, and it's I find it really exciting because I have another avenue to communicate with people. I love talking to people. I used to be the shyest kid ever. Not anymore.
Yeah, me too, I think. Yeah. Until I got into theater, then I got really into being the weirdo and talking to everybody. So,
well, there's a photo that you sent me, actually, speaking of theater, because you're on stage here. This is a really cool pic.
It's actually, I'm not. That's weirdly enough, that's actually a promo picture for the Devil's. For Trash Fire Sideshow, which is a sideshow group out of Houston I'm a part of. That's us. There's actually a group. There's actually multiple shots of all of us just on a wall. They're all promo shots, and so my bilking has always been. I'll go, hi, I'm Jeff the G. I'm the drunken mentalist because my mentalism's okay, but if I say I'm drunken, keeps that bar really low. So, so I'm all about. And we do bar gigs. I perform mostly in bars, and so that also helps with that too. 90% of my job is actually selling the bar. Like, all right, cool. Hey, here's a cool trick. What's also cool? 2 for $10 shots of Old Humble whiskey. Oh, there's just you. Well, guess what? 2 for $10. One for you, one for me. perfect deal. Stuff like that. And then I would do
style.
And so doing some a little bit card tricks or weird. When I wanted to start doing it, originally I was just doing like producing shows and just talking on stage, and I'm a talker, I'm a monologuist, so I'll just sit there and talk about something. I'll talk about something forever. And when I first started producing shows, I would create them very themed, and I would kind of talk about the theme in between each act. But then I went, I want to get more involved with like doing something. So I went, all right, cool. I'm friends with sideshow performers, so I want to be a sideshow performer. What can I do that doesn't hurt me? So that's how it started. Because I don't like pain. Even though you saw the picture earlier with a mousetrap on my eye, I don't like pain, and that hurts. That hurts a lot. I had to work up to that. I do. Like that whole routine I do there actually involves because that routine involves me telling my story and how I got to be on that stage that day, which from the day my wife died until I was on stage at the Hoot, which was almost exactly 3 years. So and as I'm telling the story, I'm adding mouse traps all over my face and hands.
Wow.
And before ending it on my tongue and taking a shot with a mousetrap on my tongue.
Well, I think you deserve that shot at that point.
So yeah. But anyway, back to so when I go, well, okay, I'm going to learn like magic and mentalism because I love magic. I've loved magic forever. Whether it's, old school like Doug Hennig and like Siegfried and Roy, or my personal favorites when things like bar tricks with things like Harry Anderson. I've always loved that sort of stuff. So I went, all right, cool. And then I go, well, how can I make it more sideshowy? And so one of the first things I did was I figured out how to do a card trick with mouse traps.
Okay.
Which is a lot of fun. Because it's one of those type of tricks I went, if the card trick's successful, it's awesome, it's great, everybody loves it. But if it goes wrong, my hand gets all mouse traps all over it, and people are still going to cheer. So I figured it was a no lose festival. So that's how it all started. And then with working with the Trash Fire Sideshow, which involves people like Scabs the Clown, Chris Broken, the aforementioned Tifa Tiddlywinks, Nick the Vegan, we started doing stuff in the Houston area. Just because there wasn't a lot offered there. Houston's fourth largest city in the U.S., but it's kind of the Wild West when it comes to performers because there isn't a big movement and a lot of different weird kind of side arts with like burlesque and like sideshow and stuff like that. So we were going, all right, cool. How can we make this work? And then one day I went, all right, cool. I'm ready to move. So I moved here to Austin, which is where I live now, just to it's a central location because I figured, all right, cool. Now I'm centrally located. I can go out and do lots of stuff. And then a pandemic happened. So I went online.
Well, and again, okay, the pandemic's happened, and now we're bringing performers to us. It's interesting. You're talking about speaking with people that you've never met, but you've always wanted to. Yeah. Have you come across anyone who is just a complete and utter Luddite? They do not know what they're doing, and they want to be on the show, but they're like, all I know is Facebook.
Oh yeah, this one's infamous, which everybody knows this as well. It's not like a secret. James Taylor, who's this amazing, basically sideshow historian here in the U.S. out of the Maryland area is where he lives now. Amazing mate, has a million and one stories. Dude owns a flip phone.
Oh, wow.
I love James to death. Eventually, the plans are to get him to get at least his house being updated to do live stuff, but not quite there yet. So when it does, I'm going to have him on the show and talk to him about stuff. But it's like that. But also he's admitted he is a self-admitted Luddite. So it's not like I'm not exposing him. I go, no, this. Yeah. He says he is because dude's happy to have a flip phone. So.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I'm curious to know how you were going to get around that. Like, is he going to go to, is a friend going to help him? Like, what are you going to do?
There's my understanding is somebody is going to go to it, like, once because he's moving locations currently, and once he gets in a new location, a friend is helping him reset up all his computer stuff.
Okay.
And that's going to fix it all.
All right. Thank you, friend, in advance,
Yeah, so as long as that goes around, okay. Because I can't wait because I literally, like, it's one of those, James is the type of guy, like, it's like, turn the camera on, ask him like 3 questions, and suddenly it's 3 hours later. That's literally what it's going to be, because he'll have like 1,001 stories about something, and then stories within the stories. Always fascinating. I adore him to death. Every time I see him with the Hootenanny, I have a great time chatting with him and like learning history about Sideshow, stuff like that. Because that's one of the good things since doing this online stuff is I've really gotten into the history of anything revolving around sideshow and circus and variety arts, because I find it fascinating. I naturally find it fascinating, but I also like showcasing it every week. So like on the Devil's Hour, I have a little thing called Sideshow History, where I talk about a performer from the days of yore. I talk about it. devilshourlive.wordpress.com. That's my website where it gets you links to all the other stuff I have.
Okay, so it'll take everyone to all the things that you're doing.
Oh, yeah. Even links to my Vimeo, which has all my older episodes of the G-Spot and Devil's Hour. Goes to my Spotify playlist of all the musicians I've had on the show.
Cool.
What else? To my to my thread list, you can get merchandise, because I'm a shameless whore when it comes to promoting stuff. So,
okay. Guys, go to devilshourlive.wordpress.com for all the things. I didn't realize. I'm going to have to creep you a little bit more now.
That's fine. That's not weird at all.
Well, I'm really excited that you have a Spotify playlist. Spotify is kind of my jam. That's where I listen to all my music. So I'm going to find that and add it to my listening. Yeah,
I have a general list of all my musicians from day one, which is over 5.5 hours long now. And then I have it broken down on the previous. So my season 1 was my live shows.
Okay.
So online started season 2, and then after a while I went, all right, cool. Once I learned enough, once I learned enough about how to make a show, I wanted to update it, and so when I said update it, it became season 3. And then the new year became season 4. So we're currently in season 4. I think I'm gonna roughly do about 20-ish episodes, and then do a new season. I just finished episode 11 last night.
Okay.
Where I had Titan from England, strongman, who's been on the Something Strange Festival.
Yes, I remember him. He was fantastic.
He's a good guy. I saw him on a thing, and I went, all right, cool. I reached out to him about being on my shows. He goes, well, what else can I do? And I pointed him to Something Strange. And so this is the second time. So this is the second time he's been on my show, but I really liked him a lot. So Titan, you're my second favorite strongman. I said that last night too. Our mutual friend Hot Todd Lincoln is my favorite strongman, but that's
that's amazing, man. We know some pretty cool people, I gotta say.
Yeah. Hot Todd Lincoln was the first sideshow performer I met outside of my local friends at Houston. So when I went to the Hootenanny for the first time, as strictly as a person to watch a show, I wasn't involved in the business at all. I just went, all right, I just produced a show for my late wife to give her proper tribute. I'm going to go unwind in New Orleans and go see a bunch of weirdos. And didn't realize that showing up changed my life forever. So Hot Todd Lincoln was the first person I met there. And so I tell him all that, and he just goes, oh, whatever. And so I'm always indebted to him, because I think it's his fault.
He's a very cool person. I actually met him when I was cool poster collection, by the way. Says Ago.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, Ago.
I met Hot Todd Lincoln when he came up to Toronto for the Something Strange Festival, the first one that I was working with. And I ended up getting a ride back with him back to our place, and we got stuck in a snowbank. It was the most Canadian experience ever. I didn't know him very well. And literally, we're in a snowbank, and this guy offers to help push us out of the snowbank. And the only thing that was missing was him offering us a coffee. Like, it was so Canadian. And he's like, here's Todd. He's from Baltimore. He's like, what is happening? I'm like, welcome to Canada, eh?
Yeah.
And I was like, why don't you get out and push the car, eh?
And
He's good people. He's very good people. I had him on, I think, episode 3 or 4.
It was episode 3.
Was it 3?
I've watched all your episodes, so.
And thank you for that, Jeff. I mean, I wanted to call that out. You've been a wonderful support, and I really, really appreciate that. You've been in the comments every week. You're absolutely fantastic.
I like to support things and stuff like that. So it's the idea of supporting and promoting and things like that. Had we had a little bit more notice, I did talk about being on the show today on my show last night, but it's one of those. It's the last minute, so obviously there's no graphics. So I went, all right, cool. Guess what? I'm doing a thing. Be on here. So
I don't have any video. I only have a couple of graphics, and I mean, I would be really honored to have you on again with a proper focus and a proper direction about you and what you're doing.
Oh, anytime, and you're also welcome my way too.
Thank you. I would be absolutely honored. I have to say, it is weird to not be the ringmaster, to be in the hot seat. And, speaking of community, because I am very much a teamwork is a dream work kind of girl too. And I think, we all rise together. And there's actually a show that I'm going to be on Saturday with, it's called The Crush Corner with Crush Destroy Clothing. I want you guys to check it out. I will be advertising it on my Facebook later.
Ooh.
These fellas make some wicked clothing. They have a great show as well. And, I'm all about expanding the community, and I'm really honored to be on their show. I'm going to have Jim Lopresti on my show, I believe, in June. I've booked up till June, so I kind of have to look at my schedule to see who's on when. Yeah. But, I'm a big believer that we all rise together. There's glory enough for all, and the more voices we can kind of collect and culminate together, the more exciting it becomes.
Oh, I agree. I think we should all do more to do so. I think the only thing that becomes an issue sometimes is just time slots, but otherwise, but that's the other thing. But that's a great thing about the internet is most stuff is recorded and you can watch it later. So, so that's why I like it. I go. So if you like, that's why my people go. Well, like when they watched the show for last night, which is 10 o'clock. Central time, which means it's 11 o'clock on Eastern, which is where you guys are. So some people are going, it's 11 o'clock. I'm in bed. I go, all right, cool. You can watch the replay. It's fine.
Now, if they go to wordpress.com, can they see the replay?
Okay, so it will eventually. So what happens through devilshour.live? It says the wordpress.com, but you can just also go devilshour.live. We'll get you there too. But for some reason, if you just go devilshour.live, it doesn't auto do the hyperlink on just when you're trying to send stuff. Okay. So, but if you type in your browser devilshour.live, it'll come to my stuff, and then in there we'll have my Vimeo set up. And usually I have to wait 24 hours before I can broadcast a show that I did on there until I can put it on my Vimeo. So it's one of those. Last night, you can see every other show except for last night's show through my Vimeo, and then I'll have it up in the next couple of days. But also on my Vimeo, I have things like the previous Give-A-Hoots from the Great Southern Sideshow Hoot Nannies on there.
Ooh, okay.
So I've got a ton of content already available there. And then I also put stuff on there time to time. You can also go online to Gaffing the Truth on YouTube, which is a show I do with Scabs the Clown, where we talk about, Gaffing the Truth right there. So myself and Scabs the Clown on Mondays at 7:30 Central Standard Time on Twitch. And then we do the rebroadcast for that on YouTube a week later, where we talk about conspiracies. We talk about cryptids. We talk about the paranormal and all sorts of weird shit like that. It's just basically it's me and Scabs the Clown an excuse to meet each other. Like we used to do that live in person. We used to just hang out on Mondays. So it gives us an excuse to hang out on Mondays and talk about weird dumb stuff, which is what we were doing anyways. We just get better drinks. So
yeah. I did not have time for anything fancy. I have Diet Pepsi in a travel mug.
That's perfectly fine. I'm a big fan of, once again, drunken mentalist. So I do drinking, but I only drink with people. I don't drink alone. That's the other thing. I have rules like that, and this is the closest I get to being around people. So I went, all right, cool. So I'll have a cocktail or two. But this is actually a local-based Texas whiskey named Old Humble Whiskey. It's out of Humble, Texas, which is just outside of Houston. They're really great. If you guys are interested, let me know.
Thanks, Rochelle. Sorry, I'm just noticing that. No, I love it. I think it's nice to be able to have a beverage with other people, still be social. I mean, I don't know about you, but the next time I'm actually in person with all of my favorite people, I'm going to have a 3-day headache. End of story.
I've never had a hangover.
No, come on.
Never.
Seriously.
In my 46 years of life, I've never had a hangover, and I've thrown some benders where I don't know how I got some places.
That is not fair. Oh my gosh! Like, good job. Like, maybe that's your sideshow skill. Like, I'm, the perma drink guy or whatever. Like,
well, kind of. I mean, look at it's like I mean, there's a little bit of preparation. Not really preparation, just to make sure I eat and that sort of stuff. But I sometimes do a drunken trivia show online as well, occasionally called Soused, because Soused means drunk. And I actually 2 times ago I had Phoenix Fire on there, and he goes, "Well, I don't really drink, so I bought moonshine." And I go, "Ooh boy." Yeah, so that's available. You actually that's available online to watch. In fact, you know what? If anyone wants to, on this Saturday, to get my cheap plugs out of the way. So I do shows on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays.
Okay.
So the next show thing I'm doing is Saturday. And so normally I do the G spot, which is talking and stuff like that, but I like to change it up every once in a while.
Okay.
Sometimes I do a trivia show. Sometimes I just show a movie. This week Scabs is gonna be out of town, so I'm taking over his time slot. So I'm gonna do a replay of Soused. I think I might do the Phoenix Fire episode.
Awesome.
Watch him get drunk, and then afterwards, I'm going to be showcasing a movie called The Band Called Death, which is a documentary about this really cool punk band from the 70s that was all black. So,
oh, cool. And now, where can they find this one?
You can go to twitch.tv/Cabin Fever live stream. Follow. Just go. You can go on there now and follow the channel, and you'll get alerts for what's going on.
Okay, perfect. Because I want to make sure I'm directing everybody to the right spot, because it's really important, because this sounds like a really great episode. I'm going to have to check it out. That's crazy.
Yeah, I've done 4 episodes so far of Soused. It's been a lot of fun. I do it raw. I do it in the raw on Twitch Live, and then I do a re-edit to make it look prettier. And so I put that on YouTube, and I'm gonna rebroadcast the prettier episode on before I do the movie. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
That's amazing. Well, Jeff, I can't even believe this, but we've been online for an hour now, and that just feels like 5 minutes. Like,
I know we could talk for another 6 hours and not realize it. Yeah, that's how it works.
I definitely want to have you back for part 2.
Yeah, anytime.
You are such a peach for jumping on with me. I've had so much fun. I really don't want the party to end, but I do want to kind of stay to my 1 hour format.
Sure.
And entice everybody to come back next week. And definitely, I will be doing a proper advertisement of when we have you back on. And we'll actually have some video to play for that too as well.
Yeah, no worries.
But Jeff, thank you so much for joining us. I will definitely check out your show on Saturday as well, and we'll stay connected.
Okay.
And thank you very much for everything. You're absolutely lovely. Oh my gosh, and that looks delicious.
You know what? I'll even do proper to call out. So because I do have a mousetrap, I can do the drink with the mousetrap if you guys want.
Oh my gosh, yes. Please.
Can I get a yes in the chat to say they want to see this?
Someone give me a yes. Okay. I hear looking forward to it.
I think it's about this show. I don't think that counts.
Mars, someone give a mousetrap thing. Come on, everybody.
Want me to put it here?
Come on, give me a hell yeah. Come on, guys. Don't leave us hanging.
Oh, wow.
Everybody's too shy. Oh my god. Oh wait, we got a yes. Yes, okay.
There we go. All right. So how I usually end shows and stuff like that is I just say all right, be cool, be groovy, be safe, and as always, keep drinking.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
Hi.
Well done. Oh my gosh, Jeff.
You're welcome.
You're the man.
Yeah.
And with that, I thank you so much for being on my show. I will see you.
I had a great time here. a good time.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I'm going to let you go. I'll see
All
you
right.
soon. Be well. Oh, I always cut everybody off early. I'm so sorry. Jeff's amazing. Guys, I want to thank you so much for being on the show, being on the show with me tonight. I really appreciate it. It's our wild card episode. You just don't know what's going to happen. It's kind of crazy. There's so many different things that can happen with live to air broadcast, and I love how exciting it can be. If you love tonight and what you're seeing, please don't hesitate to show a little love. This is what goes towards my broadcast for you. It goes towards the payment of the internet. It goes towards the technology. I do need to get a new laptop. Any little bit of love would be greatly welcome. And again, I have a show on Saturday that I'm going to be a guest on with the Crush, Kill, Destroy crew, the Crush, CDKclothing.com, the Crush Corner. I'll have it on my Facebook. And definitely look forward to another episode with Jeff in the future. He's fantastic, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for him. He is a shining light and such a mensch, and I love him to death. Guys, be well, and I will see you soon. And remember, tune in, turn on, and take part, because you never know who's going to land right here on Planet Lizzdom. I'll see you guys next week.